HR said, take the 70% pay cut or leave. By Friday, the board called me boss. Hi, I'm Alex Thompson, and I'm 34 years old. What happened to me last week could happen to anyone who thinks loyalty means anything in corporate America. Before I tell you how I went from being told to take a massive pay cut to running the entire company in just 5 days, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you love stories where justice isn't just served cold but delivered with a side of pure satisfaction, you're in the right place. Now let me tell you exactly how I turned the worst Monday of my career into the best Friday of my life. Monday morning, 9:15 a.m. I'm sitting across from Nicole Hayes in HR, expecting maybe a routine check-in about my performance review. Instead, she slides a document across the polished table that makes my blood freeze. Alex, we're restructuring your division. You have 2 options, accept a 70% pay cut and stay as a junior analyst, or submit your resignation by Friday at 9 a.m. The words hit me like a physical blow. 70%. From $120,000 down to $36,000. After 8 years of building this division from nothing. I keep my voice steady, professional. Can I ask what prompted this decision? Nicole doesn't meet my eyes. Budget constraints. The board feels your salary is disproportionate to current market conditions. I nod slowly, my mind already racing. They think they're cornering me, forcing me into an impossible choice. What they don't realize is that they just made the biggest mistake of their corporate lives. I'll need until Friday to consider my options, I say calmly. If only they knew what I was really considering. Walking back to my office, I pass the break room where my direct manager, Kyle Stevens, is laughing with 2 other department heads. I catch fragments of their conversation that make my jaw clench. Gone by Friday for sure. No way he takes that kind of cut. About time. Kid's been overpaid since day 1. Already posted the position online. Got 3 interviews lined up. They're not even trying to be discreet. 8 years I've worked here. 8 years of 60-hour weeks, of missing family dinners to close deals, of building relationships that generate millions in revenue. And they're already planning my replacement like I'm a broken office chair. I duck into my office and close the door, my hands shaking with rage. But anger won't help me now. Strategy will. I pull out my phone and start scrolling through my contacts. If they want to play hardball, I'll show them what a real player looks like. The game is about to change completely. By lunch, word has spread through the office like wildfire. Colleagues avoid eye contact, afraid that talking to the dead man walking might somehow infect them. Only my assistant, Patricia, has the guts to ask what everyone's thinking. Is it true? Are you really leaving? I lean back in my chair, studying her worried face. Patricia's been with me for 3 years, knows every client file, every internal process. She's also dating someone in IT who has access to interesting information. Patricia, hypothetically, if someone wanted to know about internal company communications, emails, reports, that sort of thing, how would they go about it? She bites her lip nervously. Hypothetically. Everything's backed up on the central server. IT has to maintain logs for legal compliance. And hypothetically, how long are those logs kept? 5 years minimum. More for financial documents. I smile for the first time since this morning. Hypothetically, that's very interesting information. She leans closer, lowering her voice. Alex, what are you planning? Nothing illegal, I assure her. Just thorough. That evening, I'm in my home office, surrounded by 8 years of meticulously kept records. Client contact information, project histories, revenue breakdowns, all perfectly organized and, more importantly, all legally mine. The picture becomes crystal clear as I review the numbers. In the past 2 years alone, I've personally generated over $15 million in new business. The division I built from scratch now accounts for 38% of the company's total revenue. And the most beautiful part? Most of these clients specifically requested to work with me. Not the company. Me. I pull up the contract file for our biggest client, Pinnacle Industries. $4.2 million annually, renewable next month. The contact is Daniel Foster, their CEO, who I've golfed with twice and whose daughter goes to the same school as my nephew. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Heard about your situation. We should talk. Trevor Blackwood. Former board member who left 6 months ago after some disagreement with current leadership. This is getting interesting. I text back, coffee tomorrow. The response is immediate, 8 a.m. Corner Cafe on 5th. Come alone. Tuesday morning, Trevor Blackwood looks exactly like what Central Casting would order for, concerned former executive. Silver hair, expensive suit, and eyes that have seen too many boardroom battles. Alex, I'm sorry about yesterday. What they're doing to you is corporate suicide. I sip my coffee, playing it cool. Just business, right? Nothing personal. He laughs bitterly. Everything's personal when Kyle Stevens is involved. Kid's been gunning for your position since he got promoted. Convinced the board you're a threat to his authority. Kyle suggested this restructuring. Pushed for it hard. Said your salary was unsustainable and your methods were outdated. Classic power play. Trevor leans forward, his voice dropping. Here's what you don't know. The board's completely out of touch with day-to-day operations. They trust Kyle's reports without verification. And Kyle's been creative with his numbers. My pulse quickens. Creative how? Let's just say if someone were to audit his quarterly projections against actual performance data, they might find some interesting discrepancies. He slides a business card across the table. If you ever want to discuss opportunities elsewhere, call me. Some people still value loyalty and competence. Back at the office, I'm looking at Kyle Stevens with completely new eyes. He's standing by the coffee machine, scrolling through his phone with that smug expression I've learned to hate. I think about Trevor's words. Creative numbers. Discrepancies. If Kyle's been lying to the board about performance metrics, that's not just unethical, it's potentially criminal. My computer pings with an email marked, confidential. The sender is an internal address I don't recognize, but the subject line makes my heart race. Thought you should see this. The attached file is a board presentation from last month. Kyle's presentation. Slide 12 shows our division's performance data, but the numbers are all wrong. Revenue understated by 20%, client satisfaction scores artificially lowered, my personal contribution completely minimized. The email has no message, just a single line, more where this came from. Delete after reading. Someone inside the company is helping me. Someone with access to executive files and the courage to risk their job. I delete the email and lean back, smiling. Kyle just gave me the ammunition I need. Wednesday afternoon, I'm having lunch with Daniel Foster from Pinnacle Industries. We're at his usual spot downtown, and he's not happy about what he's heard through the grapevine. Alex, please tell me the rumors aren't true. They're not really pushing you out, are they? I choose my words carefully. There have been some philosophical differences about the direction of the company. Daniel sets down his fork hard enough to make other diners look over. Philosophical differences. You've personally saved us over $2 million in operational costs. Your innovations have revolutionized our supply chain. I appreciate your confidence, Daniel. Confidence? It's not confidence, it's business reality. He pulls out his phone. I'm calling their CEO right now. This is ridiculous. I gently place my hand on his arm. Daniel, wait. Before you do anything rash, can I ask you something? Hypothetically, if I were to leave the company, what would that mean for your relationship with them? He doesn't hesitate. We'd follow you wherever you go. You think we're loyal to some corporate logo? We're loyal to you. And if I were to take a leadership role elsewhere, you'd have our business on day one. Full contract transfer, no questions asked. I smile, feeling another piece of the puzzle click into place. That's very good to know. Thursday morning brings an unexpected visitor to my office. Patricia knocks and peers in nervously. Alex? There's someone here to see you. Says she's from the board of directors. Catherine Blake walks in like she owns the building, which, technically, she does as the majority shareholder. At 62, she's built 3 companies from the ground up and has a reputation for cutting straight through corporate politics. Mr. Thompson, I apologize for the surprise visit. I was in the building and wanted to speak with you personally. I stand, offering her a chair. Of course, Ms. Blake. What can I do for you? You can start by explaining why Kyle Stevens told the board that you've been resistant to new initiatives and struggling with modern business practices. The question catches me off guard. I'm sorry, he said. What? She pulls out a tablet, scrolling through what looks like meeting notes. According to his reports, your division's performance has been declining steadily, client satisfaction is down, and you've been, and I quote, unwilling to adapt to current market demands. I feel my carefully controlled composure crack slightly. Ms. Blake, with respect, those statements are factually incorrect. Show me. For the next hour, I walked Catherine Blake through 8 years of documentation. Real performance data, client testimonials, revenue growth charts. All of it directly contradicting Kyle's reports to the board. Her expression grows darker with each revelation. These numbers, she says, pointing at Kyle's falsified presentation, they're not just wrong. They're deliberately misleading. Yes, ma'am. And you have documentation proving the actual figures? I hand her a thick folder. Everything's time-stamped and verified. Client contracts, revenue reports, satisfaction surveys, all directly from source. She flips through the pages, her jaw tightening. Mr. Thompson, are you telling me that Mr. Stevens has been systematically lying to the board about your performance? I'm telling you that there appear to be significant discrepancies between his reports and verifiable data. Catherine Blake closes the folder and looks at me with new respect. Young man, you've just handed me enough evidence to remove a department head. The question is, what do you want to do about it? I take a deep breath. I want justice, Ms. Blake. And I want to save this company from making a catastrophic mistake. Thursday evening, my phone rings with a number I don't recognize. The voice on the other end is crisp, professional, and completely unexpected. Mr. Thompson. This is Amanda Clark from Clark & Associates. We're a headhunting firm specializing in executive placement. I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong number. Actually, we don't. We've been tracking your performance at your current company for some time. We have a client who's very interested in discussing opportunities. My heart skips. What kind of opportunities? Division head. Possibly VP level. The compensation package would be substantially higher than your current arrangement. How substantially? Let's just say it would make your current salary look like pocket change. Are you interested in a preliminary discussion? I look around my home office, at 8 years of memories and achievements that Kyle Stevens wants to erase. Actually, Ms. Clark, the timing might be perfect. Excellent. Can you meet tomorrow at 2 p.m.? We're very eager to move quickly on this. I'll be there. As I hang up, I realize the game has evolved again. I'm not just fighting for my current position anymore. Friday morning arrives like Christmas and Judgment Day rolled into one. I'm due in HR at 9 a.m. with my decision, but first, I have a meeting that's going to change everything. At 7:30 a.m., I'm sitting in the conference room with Catherine Blake and 2 other board members I've never met. The atmosphere is tense, professional, and electric with possibility. Gentlemen, Catherine begins, this is an emergency session to address some concerning information that's come to light regarding departmental reporting. She slides copies of Kyle's falsified presentations across the table, followed by my documentation of actual performance data. Board member number 1, a stern man in his 50s, whistles low. These discrepancies are significant. Significant enough to constitute fraud, adds the second board member, a sharp-eyed woman who's clearly done this before. Catherine nods grimly. Which brings us to the question of personnel changes. Mr. Thompson, you've been with the company for 8 years. In your professional opinion, can this division survive without your client relationships? I choose my words carefully. Many of our clients have specifically requested to work with me personally. I believe they value continuity and established trust. And if you were to leave, I honestly believe several major accounts would be at risk. The room falls silent as the implications sink in. At 8:45 a.m., I'm walking toward HR when my phone buzzes with a text from Patricia. Emergency board meeting called. Kyle's been summoned. Looks panicked. I smile, straightening my tie. Perfect timing. Nicole Hayes is waiting in the same conference room where this nightmare started, but her expression is completely different now. Nervous. Uncertain. Alex, before we discuss your decision, I need to inform you that there may be some changes to the original offer. Changes? The board has requested an emergency review of departmental performance metrics. Depending on the outcome, the restructuring proposal might be modified. I lean back in my chair, enjoying the moment. That's interesting news, Nicole. What kind of modifications are we talking about? She fidgets with her papers. I'm not authorized to discuss specifics, but there's a possibility that the original terms were based on incomplete information. Incomplete how? Before she can answer, her phone rings. She answers with obvious relief. Yes. I understand. We'll postpone until further notice. She hangs up, looking slightly sick. Alex, I'm going to need to ask you to wait. There's been a development. 10 minutes later, I'm sitting in the main conference room watching Kyle Stevens try to explain his way out of 8 years of lies. He's sweating through his expensive shirt, his usual confidence replaced by desperate panic. This is all a misunderstanding, he insists, facing the 3 board members. These numbers are taken out of context. Catherine Blake slides another document across the table. Kyle, this is your report from March claiming that Alex's division generated $1.2 million in revenue. But according to the client contracts, the actual figure was $2.1 million. How do you explain that discrepancy? Accounting errors. Different fiscal quarters. You have to understand the complexity of these reports. What about this email, interrupts the first board member, where you explicitly state that Alex has been resistant to feedback and difficult to manage? Because we have testimonials from 6 different clients praising his responsiveness and innovation. Kyle's eyes dart around the room, looking for an escape that doesn't exist. Look, Maybe I was overly critical, but that doesn't change the fact that his salary is unsustainable. Catherine's voice is ice cold. Kyle, his division generates 38% of our total revenue. Do you know what's actually unsustainable? Losing those clients because we drove away the person they trust. I sit quietly, watching Kyle's career implode in real time. The questioning continues for another 20 minutes, each revelation more damning than the last. Kyle has been systematically undermining my performance reviews, understating my contributions, and presenting a completely false narrative to the board. Finally, Catherine Blake stands up. Kyle, I'm going to be direct. You have two options: resign immediately with a standard severance package, or be terminated for cause with no severance and a formal investigation into potential fraud charges. Kyle's face goes white. Catherine, please. I made some mistakes, but this is my career. Your career ended the moment you decided to lie to the board of directors. What's your decision? He looks around the room one last time, realizing that every person here knows exactly what he's done. I'll submit my resignation. Effective immediately. Security will escort you out. As Kyle stumbles toward the door, Catherine turns to me. Alex, I owe you an apology. This company nearly lost one of its most valuable employees because of deliberate misinformation. Thank you, Ms. Blake. Now, let's discuss your future here. Because after this morning's revelations, we have a department head position that needs to be filled immediately. The room goes quiet. I can feel the weight of the moment, the complete reversal of fortune that started with a 70% pay cut. The board would like to offer you Kyle's position as department head of business development, effective immediately. The words hang in the air like music. 24 hours ago, they wanted me to take a massive pay cut. Now they're offering me my tormentor's job. That's a generous offer, I say carefully. What would the compensation structure look like? Catherine consults her notes. Base salary of $160,000, performance bonuses up to 30%, full benefits package, and equity options. It's a $40,000 raise from my current salary. But I'm thinking bigger now. Ms. Blake, I appreciate the offer, but I have some concerns about the management structure that led to this situation. How do we prevent this kind of misinformation from happening again? She leans forward, interested. What do you have in mind? I'd want direct reporting access to the board for performance metrics. No intermediate filtering through other department heads. Complete autonomy over my division's operations and staffing decisions. The board members exchange glances. This is more authority than Kyle ever had. And, I continue, pushing my advantage, I'd want to restructure the entire business development approach. We're leaving money on the table with our current client management system. How much money? I smile. Give me 6 months, and I'll show you a 20% increase in divisional revenue. Guaranteed. The board huddles for a quick discussion while I sit there, my heart pounding with anticipation. Through the glass walls, I can see office workers going about their normal Friday routines, completely unaware that the company's entire power structure is being rewritten in this room. Catherine turns back to me. Alex, your terms are acceptable with one modification. We'll give you the authority you're requesting, but the revenue increase guarantee works both ways. If you don't hit 20% growth in 6 months, we'll need to reevaluate the arrangement. Understood. But I'll need to make some staffing changes. What kind of changes? Nicole Hayes in HR has been complicit in Kyle's misrepresentation. She knew the real performance numbers and chose to support the false narrative. I can't work effectively with someone I don't trust. The board members look uncomfortable, but Catherine nods slowly. What do you recommend? Transfer her to a different department, or offer her a severance package. Her choice. Done. Anything else? I take a deep breath. I want Patricia promoted to executive assistant, with appropriate compensation. She's been instrumental in maintaining our client relationships, and I'll need her support to implement the changes I have in mind. Agreed. Do we have a deal, Mr. Thompson? I stand up, extending my hand. We have a deal, Ms. Blake. As we shake hands, I realize I've just accomplished something I never thought possible. I've turned a corporate betrayal into a complete victory. By noon, the news has spread through the office like wildfire. Kyle Stevens, the golden boy who seemed untouchable, is gone. Escorted out by security with his personal items in a cardboard box. And I'm not just staying, I'm his replacement. The reactions are immediate and telling. Patricia bursts into tears of relief when I tell her about her promotion. The other department heads who were laughing about my departure on Monday are now suddenly very interested in scheduling meetings with me. But the best moment comes when I walk past the break room and see the same group that was mocking me earlier. The conversation stops dead when they see me, replaced by awkward silence and nervous glances. Gentlemen, I say pleasantly. I look forward to working with you all in my new capacity. The fear in their eyes is delicious. My phone buzzes with a text from Trevor Blackwood, heard the news. Brilliant move. Drink tonight to celebrate? I text back, rain check. I have some calls to make. First call, Daniel Foster at Pinnacle Industries. Daniel, it's Alex. I have some good news about our partnership moving forward. Second call, Amanda Clark at the headhunting firm. Ms. Clark, thank you for the offer, but I've decided to stay with my current company. Yes, you could say I got a better offer. Monday morning arrives with a completely different energy. I'm sitting in Kyle's old office, my office now, reviewing the weekend's emails and planning my first week as department head. The power shift is immediately obvious. People who ignored me last week are now stopping by to congratulate me and offer their support. The same colleagues who thought I'd be gone by Friday are now asking about opportunities on my team. Nicole Hayes appears in my doorway, looking mortified. Alex, Mr. Thompson, I wanted to apologize for last week. I was just following orders from Kyle, and Nicole, stop. I set down my coffee and look at her directly. Last week, you had a choice. You could have questioned those orders, done your own research, or simply treated me with basic professional respect. You chose not to. She starts to protest, but I hold up my hand. However, I believe in second chances. I've spoken with the board about transferring you to our accounting department. Same salary, similar responsibilities, but you'll be working with numbers instead of people. Take the weekend to think about it. She nods quickly and hurries away. I've learned that sometimes the most powerful revenge is simple professional courtesy mixed with consequences. My intercom buzzes. Mr. Thompson. Catherine Blake is here to see you. Catherine Blake settles into the chair across from my desk with the satisfaction of someone who's just solved a major problem. Alex, I wanted to check in on your first day and discuss the transition timeline. Everything's going smoothly. I've scheduled one-on-ones with all the key clients this week, and I'm reviewing our current project portfolio. Excellent. I also wanted to inform you that the board met over the weekend to discuss some additional changes. My pulse quickens. What kind of changes? We've decided to restructure the entire management hierarchy. Your success in exposing Kyle's deception has raised some questions about oversight and accountability across all departments. She pulls out a tablet and shows me an organizational chart. We're implementing direct reporting relationships between department heads and the board. No more filtering through intermediaries. I study the chart, realizing the implications. This prevents any single person from controlling information flow to the board. Exactly. Kyle's situation taught us that we were dangerously isolated from operational reality. And the other department heads are okay with this? Catherine smiles grimly. They don't have a choice. Anyone who objects to transparent reporting probably has something to hide. This is better than revenge. This is systematic reform that ensures what happened to me can never happen to anyone else. Tuesday brings my first major test as department head. A conference call with all our key clients to formally introduce myself in my new role. I've been working with these people for years, but now the dynamic is completely different. Daniel Foster from Pinnacle Industries is the first to speak up. Alex, congratulations on the promotion. Long overdue, if you ask me. The chorus of agreement from the other clients is immediate and genuine. For the next hour, I listen to testimonials about my work that Kyle never bothered to collect. Client satisfaction scores Kyle reported as declining are actually at all-time highs. Alex, says Patricia Foster from Global Logistics, we've been hoping for something like this. Kyle was difficult to work with. Always seemed more interested in internal politics than solving our problems. Well, that's changing immediately, I assure them. My focus is entirely on delivering results for your businesses. After the call ends, I lean back in my chair, realizing something profound. Kyle didn't just try to destroy my career, he was actively damaging the company's most important relationships. His lies weren't just about me, they were about fundamental business reality. My phone rings. It's Catherine Blake. Alex, I just got off a call with Patricia Foster at Global Logistics. She said they're ready to expand their contract by 40%. Apparently, they've been waiting for the right leadership to approve it. 40%. Kyle's incompetence was costing the company millions. Wednesday afternoon, I'm in the middle of a strategy meeting when Patricia knocks on my door with urgent news. Alex, you need to see this. It just came through on the company news feed. She hands me her tablet, and I read the headline that makes my day complete: local business executive terminated for performance misrepresentation. The article doesn't name Kyle directly, but everyone in the industry will know exactly who it's about. It's a professional death sentence. No respectable company will hire someone terminated for lying to their board of directors. But that's not the best part. The best part is the quote from Catherine Blake: "This situation reinforced our commitment to transparency and data-driven decision-making. We're fortunate to have identified this issue before it caused permanent damage to our client relationships." Kyle's reputation is ruined, and the company is getting credit for strong governance. Perfect. My intercom buzzes. "Mr. Thompson, you have a visitor." Says he's from Meridian Consulting. I smile. Word travels fast in our industry, and Meridian is one of our biggest competitors. Send him in. The man who enters is everything I expected: expensive suit, practiced smile, and the kind of confidence that comes from poaching talent from struggling companies. "Mr. Thompson, I'm here because we've heard about your recent changes. Meridian would like to discuss some very attractive opportunities." "I appreciate your interest," I tell the Meridian recruiter, "but I'm exactly where I want to be." He looks surprised. "Mr. Thompson, I haven't even discussed compensation yet. We're talking about a significant increase over your current package." "I'm sure you are. But I've just been given an opportunity to completely reshape how this company operates. That's worth more than money. Everyone has a price." I lean back in my chair, enjoying the moment. 6 months ago, you might have been right. But someone recently taught me that the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting ahead. After he leaves, I realize something important has changed in me. This isn't about spite anymore. It's about proving that competence and integrity can triumph over politics and manipulation. My phone buzzes with a text from Trevor Blackwood. Heard Meridian came calling. Smart to stay put. You're building something special there. I text back, just getting started. And I mean it. Kyle's termination was just the beginning. Now I get to rebuild this entire division according to my vision, with full board support and unlimited potential. The game isn't over. I've just leveled up. Thursday morning brings news that validates every decision I've made this week. Patricia bursts into my office with a contract in her hands and a huge smile on her face. Alex, you're not going to believe this. Global Logistics just signed their expansion deal, Pinnacle Industries moved up their renewal by 6 months, and Anderson Tech wants to schedule a meeting about a completely new project. I scan the contract numbers, hardly believing what I'm seeing. In 4 days as department head, I've generated more new business than Kyle managed in the previous quarter. That's not all, Patricia continues. Catherine Blake wants to see you in her office at 2 p.m. She says the board has been reviewing the week's developments. My heart skips slightly. Good news or bad news? With this board, it's impossible to predict. At 2 p.m. sharp, I'm sitting across from Catherine Blake in her executive office, surrounded by floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The view reminds me of how far I've come in just 1 week. Alex, the board met this morning to review your first week's performance. I wait, keeping my expression neutral. I'll be direct. In 4 days, you've generated more positive client feedback than we received in the previous 6 months. Your divisional revenue is up 18% week over week, and we've received 3 unsolicited contract expansions. Relief floods through me. I'm glad the results speak for themselves. They do. Which is why the board has voted to accelerate your performance review timeline. Accelerate how? Catherine Blake pulls out a formal document with the company letterhead. Alex, effective immediately, we're promoting you to Vice President of Business Development. Full executive status, board meeting attendance, and a compensation package commensurate with your contributions. I stare at the document, hardly believing what I'm reading. VP level. In 1 week, I've gone from facing a 70% pay cut to becoming a company executive. The salary increase is substantial, she continues, but more importantly, you'll have direct authority over all client-facing operations. No more interference, no more politics, just results. I sign the document, my hand trembling slightly with the magnitude of what's happening. There's one more thing, Catherine adds with a slight smile. The board wants you to present your 6-month growth strategy at next week's investor meeting. If you can deliver on your 20% guarantee, we're looking at expanding your division into new markets. As I walk back to my office, my executive office now, I pass the same break room where Kyle's friends were mocking me just 1 week ago. The room falls silent when they see me, but this time it's not fear in their eyes. It's respect. Friday evening, exactly 1 week after the worst Monday of my career, I'm sitting in my new executive office, looking out over the city lights. My nameplate reads, Alex Thompson, Vice President of Business Development. On my desk are 3 new business proposals, 2 contract renewals, and a congratulatory email from the CEO praising my exceptional leadership during transition. My phone buzzes with a text from Daniel Foster, heard about the promotion. Well deserved. Looking forward to working with the new VP. Another message from Trevor Blackwood, brilliant week. You've redefined what's possible. But the message that makes me smile the most is from Patricia, Mr. VP, your 9 a.m. Monday meeting with the investor group is confirmed. Should I prepare the presentation materials? I lean back in my leather chair, thinking about Kyle Stevens. Word through the industry grapevine is that he's still unemployed, his reputation in ruins. Meanwhile, the department he tried to destroy is thriving under leadership that values truth over politics. As I pack up for the weekend, I pass by the HR department where this nightmare began. Nicole Hayes's old desk is empty. She took the transfer to accounting rather than face daily reminders of her mistake. On Monday morning, I'll walk into that investor meeting as a VP presenting a growth strategy that will reshape this company's future. By Friday, they were calling me boss. But the real victory isn't the title or the money. It's knowing that sometimes, just sometimes, merit wins over manipulation.